Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the month of March, because this is the month in my world predictions that I said would be one of the most difficult months of the year of 2023. So we're going to get into this and discuss why I feel like this is the turning point and the culmination point of many things that have been building for quite some time. But before I get into it, I want to remind everyone to sign up for my free newsletter, where you will get all of my predictions delivered to your email address every week. Go to galacticcenter.org, and while you're there, check out my magazine, Joni Patry's Astrology Insights. In this magazine, you will have about 100 pages of incredible articles about astrology and everything to do with spirituality and metaphysics. We interview a famous astrologer or metaphysician every month. And also, one more thing, while you're at my website, go to my books, because I just wrote a brand new book I am very proud of. It's Astrologer Secrets, My Best Tools and Techniques. It's on Amazon, but you can find all of my books on my website and check it out. It's probably one of my prize books that I'm very, very happy is finally out. So with that, let's get going. Let's talk about how March is going to prevail. What can we expect during this turbulent month? Because there's so much happening, and you know so much is happening in the world, and it seems awfully suspicious why everything seems to be a big secret. Nobody really knows what's going on. But here's where we're going to start to discover all the whys that we keep asking. Why is this? Why is that? We're going to start seeing some reality and truth with all of this, because astrologically, many of the signs this month are going to be in Pisces. And while they're transiting through the last portion of the zodiac in Pisces, they're also going to be transiting through the very last nakshatra, called Revati. Revati is the nakshatra that deals with, well, pretty much it's called the Constellation of Transition. It means to transcend, to go beyond. And that's what's actually happening, because this is the final end. And that's why we're going to feel like the final end is coming to all that we have been questioning for so long. This is the nakshatra that deals with and has been said to be the gateway to another cycle. We're starting a whole new cycle, and Jupiter is about to complete its transit through the sign of Pisces. It's got, well, just about 6 more weeks till the end, the 3rd week of April. But during this time, there's so much closure, completion, things coming to an end. And I see a lot happening this month where all of the things that we're in question about will start to show up, and we'll start seeing clearly again. This will be around March 14th through the 17th, because during this time, Mars will, around the 12th of this glorious month of March, will leave the sign of Taurus, where it's been for about 6 months or more. It's been retrograde back and forth, went retrograde October 30th, and now it's going to finally leave the sign of Taurus. This will feel so much better for all of us. Now, this is March 12th, but by the 14th through the 17th, as I said, there is going to be a lot that becomes visible that will be shocking, let me just tell you, because what's happening around that time when Mars is around 1 degree of Gemini, and Gemini is a sign of communications, media, internet. Things we didn't know about are definitely clear and in our vision now. But Mars is going to be squaring the Sun, Neptune, and Mercury exactly. So we're going to see things that world leaders have been hiding from us for years all over the world. This is important that we know this because we have been in the dark and it's all becoming clear. And also Mars is by sign squaring Jupiter. So we've got all of these planets in Pisces. Mars is going to be aspecting it by its hardcore square. So we've got Sun, Neptune, Mercury, and Jupiter all in Pisces. And you know, Saturn just went into Aquarius to stay for 2 years. This occurred in just recently. So Saturn's going to be in Aquarius, and Saturn's here to stay. And it's going to start really making some traction and some movement in the sign of Aquarius this month. Because close to the end of the month, Saturn is going to cross over a very, very sensitive point in the United States chart. 7 degrees of Aquarius. And as Saturn crosses over this, around the 3rd week to the end of March, this degree portion, this is also, and I've been talking about this for a long time, this is also where President Biden's K2 sits, 7 degrees of Aquarius. So Saturn crossing over this sensitive point is going to bring things up. As I say so many times, if you really want to understand what's going on in different countries, you have to look not only of the chart, birth chart we have for the country, but also their world leader. That's how you can see what's going on. That's why I keep talking about the charts of world leaders, which I have a lot more to talk about. Not only President Biden, but Xi Jinping. His planets in his chart are about to become activated as well this month of March. As soon as Mars hits that 1 degree marking in Gemini, it's going to be on natal Mars for the USA, which sits at 1 degrees of Gemini for the USA chart, and Xi Jinping's Sun sits at 1 degree of Gemini. So I'm saying, and I've been saying this for a long time, March is the month that the anger is going to start to spew, the undercurrents dealing with the US and China. And things have been building. There's been stuff in the airspace that no one can explain and has not been talking about. There's more to this than meets the eye. There's more than we're being told, and we're going to start seeing some undercurrents exploding, dealing with this. These are sensitive places in the zodiac, dealing with the US and China. And you know how I've been talking about looking at the charts of countries and the world leaders. Well, going back to 2011, when the earthquake hit Japan, I predicted it the month before, and it happened March of 2011. I believe it was March 11th. I had a website in Japan, and I wrote for 7 years for a Japanese website making predictions for their country. So I had their birth chart, looked at the chart of their world leader, and I had predicted that month. Now, the reason why I'm pulling this full circle is I was not looking at the birth chart of Turkey and their president, but going back and looking at it today. And let me remind everyone here, I have an affinity to Turkey. I love Turkey. I used to go there for many years and teach every year. And I was in the groove of always watching the chart for Turkey and making predictions for the country. And since I haven't been traveling there to teach, I lost the focus of looking at their country's chart and their leader's chart, which it was absolutely predicted that this earthquake would happen because the sun in the chart for Turkey sat exactly where K2 was crossing during the time of the earthquake, as well as Erdogan, President Erdogan, has his moon and Mars 15, 16 degrees of Scorpio, and that was exactly where transiting Mars opposed his moon, Mars, which are in the 12th house of loss. So my whole point with this, if you're not understanding or following my astrological rhyme and reason, is you must look at the chart of world leaders and the countries to see what's going on in the world. It's just pretty hard to look at every single country every month. But I am charting the United States, and I have been charting China because I'm seeing something come up in the month of March that is serious, and we may not get the truth from the media. And maybe that's a good thing, because you know, when they are doing what they need to do to protect the country, they shouldn't let the whole world know, right? But there's a lot going on astrologically there. And because we have these planets all in Pisces, things are coming to an end, concluding what has been building for so long. And let me remind everyone that the Nakshatra that Jupiter is going to start transiting in is the very last and final nakshatra, Revati, and this means to transcend, to go beyond. And let me remind everyone, Revati, that nakshatra, is ruled by the deity Pushan. And Pushan deals with travels, whether they be spiritual travels, psychological, and most of all, physical travels. This relates to something going on in the skies with travel. This can deal with airplanes. This can deal with airspace. But there is something this month dealing with travel. Be cautious, because there's something that could happen, especially when Venus is going to be traveling with Rahu. And it will be traveling with Rahu. Let's see, Venus will be with Rahu around the 12th of March through April 5th. Around that time, we're going to find that Venus in this portion could deal with airfare. Because let me say this is another thing that I've been talking about over and over and over again. And that is that Uranus and Rahu coming together in Aries, which they have been together since March of 2022, and they will be together till the end of November of 2023. And this deals with earthquakes. Uranus rules earthquakes and airplanes. And this is where we're going to have the most calamities, dealing with air travel, dealing with what's in airspace, whether the UFOs that are coming within, whether they're of this world or not, as well as earthquakes, earth changes. We're not finished with the shaking of the earth while we have Rahu and Uranus in Aries in the same sign. And that is one of the reasons why we had this monumental, horrific earthquake in Turkey and Syria at this time. And it is just one of the worst, I feel, in the century. So our prayers go out to everyone in Turkey. I am so sad about this, but yes, it could have been predicted if I had been watching the birth chart and of Turkey and Erdogan. But there's more to be predicted because tensions will rise this month due to Mars crossing over the degrees that is affecting China and the US. And this is serious stuff. But you know what I have said so many times, and this is a fact. We have been so polarized and divided as a world, as a country, and sometimes we need something that will unify us. An event of this magnitude could occur that will bring people together. We have to work together. There is no other choice if we want the world, if we want people to come together and be at peace and not destroy themselves. So this is all coming about. And here's another thing I want to point out about where the full moon and the new moon are going to be this month. March 7th, we have a full moon in Leo, and it's in the Nakshatra Purva Falguni. This nakshatra in this sign, of course, is the most creative of all. And I want everyone to focus back in on what they're trying to create and manifest in their lives, because this makes it all the more powerful that your ability for manifestation and creativity is more powerful this entire month, and especially around the time of the full moon, March 7th. And the next thing that is really, really important is going to be where the new moon will happen on March 25th. And this is really important. Why do I say this? Because this is the new moon in Pisces. And in Vedic astrology, we call this the yearly chart. When the new moon is in Pisces, that particular chart reflects the entire year for the world. But what must be done is when you put the longitude and latitude for the place of interest, this is also how you can tell where and what's going to be happening in different places around the world. This Pisces yearly new moon chart. So this one, which this new moon chart occurs on March 21st, excuse me. This chart for putting in the United States, Washington, D.C., looks incredibly powerful. And it looks like there's going to be new hope and resolution coming about politically and for the government in the U.S. Now remember, this is the chart that starts March 21st. It reflects the whole year, not just this 1 month. And I'm seeing where things are going to start coming together, and all of the problems that we have been foreseeing in the U.S. will start to be coming to resolution, because the open borders, the illicit drugs that have been pouring over the borders, the problems looming from China, all of this is going to be visible, clear, and there's going to be action within the year. Within this year, from March of 2023 through March of 2024, there's going to be massive healings for the U.S. And that's saying a lot, because right now there is so much confusion and division. But some event, and I think it's cropping up and beginning the month of March, is going to explode into something where there's going to have to be unity. And this unity will come from an event, but it will make people come together. So if I could say this March, while we have all this energy in Pisces, Pisces is the most spiritual sign of the zodiac. It represents compassion, healing of the emotions, because it's such a compassionate water sign. It's of water. There's going to be a healing. And for you, what you must focus in on this month is not the fear of what could be looming, but go within. Look within. Remember, when you still the mind, when you meditate, when you come to your peace, this is how you're going to affect the world in the most positive way. And additionally, I think there's going to be a new spiritual movement that comes about beginning now because of all these Pisces planets. And so if I could say this, make this the month that you truly focus on becoming spiritually aware. Meditate, go within your soul and your heart, and you will see, you will transform just like the planet is, by leaps and bounds. This is the month of transition. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, a reading, or anything to do with my newsletter or my magazine, go to my website, galacticcenter.org. And if you're interested in learning astrology, go to my university website. It is all online, self-paced, and it is a community of spiritual devotees that are learning Jyotish, the science of light. Go to University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.